Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The first 72 hours of the Jon Sumrall era is off to a damn near perfect start. I don't know if there's any other way you can put it. Jon Sumrall comes in Sunday morning, Monday afternoon press conference where clearly won over the fan base. That's what I'm seeing on Twitter, and that's what I'm seeing on the message boards. That there were a lot of fans that had some skepticism around the Jon Sumrall hire. I don't feel that same skepticism anymore. And then on Tuesday, he goes out and hires a bona fide defensive coordinator in Brad White, a very well respected hire in the industry, a bona fide track record in the SEC. And now we come Wednesday signing day, and he's locking it down, man. I mean, closing on some names that were trending away from Florida has come in the first 72 hours really lock down this 2026 cycle. If you needed an early sneak peek in terms of Jon Sumrall's ability to play ball on the recruiting trail in this conference, I think you're getting an early look in an early answer on what Jon Sumrall can do. Want to talk about some of the names that Jon Sumrall has gotten it done for, signing their papers, coming to Florida, and I think you got to start with CJ Bronaugh. I mean, Ohio State was pushing. Ohio State really liked this kid for the last month and a half. It sounded like he was destined to play his football with the Ohio State Buckeyes. And Jon Sumrall comes in, gets this one done. CJ Bronaugh signing his papers this morning to play for Florida. The Florida fans know how I feel about this kid because we broke down this commitment way back in the summer. 6'1", buck 70. 10-3 in the 100-meter dash, a ball hawk on the football field. What I love about CJ Bronaugh is he's a guy that, started off his career at the high school ranks as really traitsy individual, like a lot of length, a lot of speed. Maybe the football player didn't necessarily back that up. Although his junior and senior year, this kid has putting it together on the football field. I look at CJ Brown and say if he takes the right steps and puts it all together, this is a true cornerback one in this conference, which in my opinion, it's massive. I look at the programs you have to beat to win SEC championships and make runs at the college football playoffs. They got freaking dudes at wide receiver, like big, strong, fast wide receivers. You need these caliber of athletes to deal with those kind of wide receivers. Really good job by Jon Sumrall here. How about another one? KJ Ford. I mean, KJ Ford was another one that, look, he's been committed to Florida, has never backed off his commitment. The general feel in the industry that this kid was going to Texas A&M, and Texas A&M is working their tail off to get KJ. He was on campus for Texas A&M like 3 times over the last 2 months. Jon Sumrall comes in, gets this one done as well. And to the Florida fans who've been rocking with the boys, y'all know how I feel about KJ Ford too. There's a reason he's a top 200 national prospect. Number one, multi-dimensional edge rusher, right? When you look at him, it's all right, 6'3.5", 245. He's a really strong individual that also can win on the outside shoulder, has a little bit of twitch, has that gear to him where he can challenge tackles athletically with a little bit of speed. He can go right through you. He can go around you. Really good in the run game. Wired the right way. I'll say this about KJ Ford is you might have to pull the leash on him a little bit. Like this kid plays with an edge, sometimes crosses that line. What do we always say with those kind of guys? I'd rather have to yank the leash back a little bit than try to draw that out of him. That's what you're getting with KJ Ford. How about Heze Kent? This was another, I mean, the most fascinating prospect in Florida's class. I think he will play tackle. He wants to play tight end. I don't, he's one of those guys where I don't care where you play. I want to add you to my roster. We'll figure out how to use you. There's a reason Florida State was pushing. There's a reason Georgia Tech was pushing. There was a reason that Miami was pushing. Jon Sumrall comes in and gets this one done. I mean, here's the common denominator with a lot of these recruitments that I believe like Jon Sumrall has won over the last 72 hours is they're all SEC hitters. I mean, CJ Bronaugh was a little bit more of a Big Ten Ohio State guy, but that is an SEC caliber program on the recruiting trail. You go head to head with Ohio State, you win out for CJ Bronaugh. You go head to head with Texas A&M, you win out for KJ Ford. go head to head with Georgia Tech and Miami and Florida State for Heze Kent. You win out. Here's the last name to know, Davian Groce, which is probably my favorite committed prospect for Florida. Oklahoma's pushing. Oklahoma has been in this recruitment for the last year and a half. It sounds like Florida's on their way to getting this one done too. This is kind of the last remaining piece that we're looking at. This ain't that hard to sell you on Davian Groce, by the way. 6'1", 190, 10-7 in the 100-meter dash. A guy that is an absolute beast in the yards after the catch situations. Played a little running back early in his high school career. I guess this is how I'll put it right now for Jon Sumrall, and that is he's come in and answered a lot of questions. Like, number one, he showed the very clear difference between himself and Billy Napier. Billy Napier was really process oriented, a little bit robotic, probably didn't have that fire you were looking for from an SEC football coach. Jon Sumrall clearly has that, right? So I think he has won the fan base over, specifically convincing them that, hey, even though I'm a G5 coach from a school in Louisiana, I'm different from the coach that you just had. He's come in and made a really good hire with Brad White. And hey, how about we'll just get into this conversation real quick as well. We'll talk about the name that we're hearing the most in terms of offensive coordinator hire. But before we do, I guess what I want to say is he's come in and made some good hires. He's come in and locked down this recruiting class and has won some recruiting battles in the last 72 hours that, look, if you're going to win at Florida, you have to win these kind of battles. And then the last one, man, Buster Faulkner. Sounds like he is offensive coordinator target number one. And I've been banging the table for this cat for the last 2 years. I mean, if you have been paying attention to Georgia Tech and what they've done on offense, I think he's one of the best offensive coordinators in the game. And Jon Sumrall sees it. And the thing I love most about Buster Faulkner, he knows how to run the football. You need that in the SEC. I don't care how good your quarterback is. I don't care how good your wide receivers are. I think you're seeing that with Alabama right now, as good as Ty Simpson has been and as good as those wide receivers are. If you can't run the football and you have to drop back and throw the football 40-plus times, you are in some serious trouble. Buster Faulkner knows how to run the football, and he's going to run the football. His offense is a little unique with Heze Kent because Heze Kent's a unique quarterback. What I would say to the Florida fans that are concerned about, I don't think you call it a gimmick offense, but you use Heze Kent in untraditional ways. You run him a lot. To me, that's more of a product of the kind of quarterback Heze Kent is. I think Buster Faulkner has looked at Heze Kent and said, hey, I got to mold my offense around the skill set that I have at quarterback, which to me is a really good sign for an offensive coordinator. I think the best offensive coordinators don't have the same system that they stick to. The best offensive coordinators adapt their offenses to the skill sets they have on offense. Buster Faulkner's done a tremendous job with that, with Heze Kent and Georgia Tech. I ain't got no doubt he could do that at Florida too, whether that's with DJ Lagway, whether that's with the quarterback they go get in the portal. It's hard not to be really impressed with what you've seen from Jon Sumrall early in his tenure at Florida. Now, again, you got to go win the games in the fall on Saturdays. This is how you start winning games, by hiring good staff, by grabbing good players on the recruiting trail. We're checking boxes, man, over the first 72 hours. We'll continue to update it. We got offensive coordinator hires to talk about. We got coaching staff hires to talk about. We got portal additions to talk about. We got a lot to talk about regarding this Florida Gators program. But I wanted to start with, hey, I really impressed with what we've seen from Florida and Jon Sumrall on the recruiting trail early, and really just impressed with what we've seen over the first 72 hours of the Jon Sumrall tenure in Gainesville. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.